Done last week playing golf. I told you, didn't I?
Yeah.
I got the fucking treatment back.
See you later.
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh, it's just full of Americans.
Where's that Killarney? Is it
Southwest. It's the furthest point west in the whole of Europe.
Yeah.
Some what was on television was saying out the Hebrides furthest point. Where's it fucking ain't? Killarney is a Dingle Peninsula in Kerry County.
Testing. Right. Can I ask, Max, would you be able to do microphone duties? Because I haven't got 3. I've only got 2.
Paddy.
Yeah, like just
okay.
point it at him when he speaks.
Point it or pass it over.
What? Point it.
Yeah,
Point it.
okay.
Don't hit him with it though. Anyway, back to business. I'm honoured and privileged to be here in the gym with Max and yourself, Paddy. October Red Boxing, the wonderful Paddy Lynch, and the amazing Max McCracken. As you know, Max means the world to me because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is down to him believing in me. So it's always a pleasure to get him on camera. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Cheers, Abby. You work hard. You know, you're very hard worker right now. You got where you are now by getting out there yourself and working hard.
But back to you guys. I want to touch. First of all, I'm going to go straight in at the deep end. Paddy, you're a very experienced man, and please remember to recite that poem before you get off camera. Please. I want you guys, both of you, to talk to me about the current situation that we're seeing with Tyson Fury, and obviously him offering to have like different fights, and then possibly a fight happening with Anthony Joshua, which 258 have put out a statement saying that they've agreed to fight on the 3rd of December, but obviously due to Queen Elizabeth II passing away, we're just pausing it at the moment while we continue negotiations. Max, may I start with you? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, you hear a lot from Tyson Fury, don't you? And you don't know what to believe and not what to believe. But it's a great fight if he fights Joshua. I think it's a fight that Joshua should take. You know, he might not get another chance.
Why do you think he should take it? Because a lot of people are saying, I spoke to Gareth A. Davis the other day, and he was saying, no, I think he should build first. I don't think he should go straight into it. Where Spencer Oliver, like you said, take it. You're a fighter as well. Why should he take that fight straight away?
He's just come out of a camp, hasn't he? He's had a tough fight, but a few weeks he'll be okay. His body will have healed up and that. And just why not go again? He might wait for years to get the opportunity again. Tyson Fury might not give it him. So I mean, just take it while it's there. If it's real, if you can believe what the Tyson Fury's saying.
Paddy, your thoughts?
He'd be absolutely daft if he doesn't take it, because if it was a mandatory challenger, he'd get 25 or 20%. To be offered 40% up front in a voluntary, people who fight in voluntary titles lucky to get 10%. It'd be absolutely crazy. He used to say he'll win another fight, because he can't go and they can't dig anybody up from the fight. You're going to have to fight a credible opponent. To me, I don't think he's got much left in him. And for that type of money, he'd be absolutely crazy not to take the fight. I don't think he can win the fight, but at the end of the day, he's a professional fighter, and what he's in there is to make money. And it's the best offer he's ever going to get. He'd be absolutely daft not to take it.
When you say he's not got much left in him, which one are you talking about, Fury or Joshua?
Joshua.
Talk to us about that. Why do you think he's not got much left in him?
Well, I think Robert done miracles getting him where he got him. Absolutely got him. He got himself surrounded by yes men now, who were doing nothing, slapping him on the back and cheering him on, telling him he's winning the fight that he's quite clearly losing. When he was with Robert, he was dealing with reality and somebody who had a lot of trust in him and a lot of faith in him. What Robert done for Joshua is unbelievable. Olympic champion, twice world heavyweight champion. And these guys just sneak in the back door and they're slapping him on the back and telling me something he's not. When you're losing a fight, you don't need misinformation. You need good information. And Robert had a great relationship. Robert got more out of him than anyone. Nobody will ever get what Robert got out of him. And he's absolutely crazy not to have stayed and trusted Robert. Robert got him where he was, and he should have stayed with the person who got him there. Getting to the top of the mountain is one thing, staying there is another, because you can't pick opponents. The WBC, the WBA, or the IBO, they pick the challengers for it. You've got to be good enough to beat them. Now, if he goes in and starts taking fights on the side, he used to say he's going to win them, because he can't fight, he can't dig a body up. He's got to fight a legitimate opponent. He used to say he's going to win. And even if he fights Fury and puts up a good performance, he could go again, but he had plenty of money to count on the way home. We take a chance for a fraction of what he get. It'd be mad not to. You've got to take the fight.
it's interesting that you've touched on something there, and it kind of like, I know, like I said, I'm here with Max McCracken, you're Rob's brother, but it just went straight over my head. But like you said, Rob got him to where he was, from an Olympian to a two-time heavyweight champion. You've trained fighters. You've boxed. You both have.
I've trained Robert. For his whole career. But let me tell you, Robert McCracken's a very good trainer. And on top of that, he's a very smart kid as well, and he knows his boxing inside out. You wouldn't get anybody better. You know, he mightn't blast his mouth off and be the big guy screaming, "Well done, champ." He tells you, he gives it to you straight. Reality. That's what you got to deal with. Reality. Not with people calling you champ and smacking you on the back when you're getting beat. You need to be winning, and the only way to win is to deal with reality. The only thing you've got to protect you in the boxing ring is your gum shield and your fitness. And Robert made sure he got in there, he was fit and he was right. And the last time, the first fight with Usyk, he decided he didn't need to do road work.
Talk to me about road work. I know that's something that Max is a fan on, because I see Max's fighters, all of them, on track or doing road work. Talk to me about that road work.
There's three core values in boxing, right? One is you get your legs on the road. You need to have good core training, plenty of stomach work, good core strength, and top class sparring. Anything else you do around that, weights or anything stretching, is all supplementary. If you want to be a good boxer, you box. If you want to play tennis, you play tennis. If you want to play golf, you practice golf. Boxers have to box. That's where you get your timing and your speed from. And that's where you learn how to slip punches, how to be a fighter. It's instinctive boxing, is you can either do it or you can't do it. You know, all this talk about plans. We made a plan. We got a plan for this guy. You build a house on a plan. Boxing's about instincts. If you can't instinctively do it, you're not going to do it. For me, your fitness and your instincts get you through everywhere in boxing, because as soon as you get hit with a good left hook, as Mike Tyson once said, the plan goes out the window. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Get on that road and run. Get your legs on the road. Number one. Sparring and stomach work. Everything else is supplementary.
Max, talk to us. You've got Solomon Dakers in your gym as a heavyweight. I think is he the first heavyweight that you've trained as well?
Yes, the first one I've trained myself. I've worked with heavyweights, but he's the first one I've trained.
So how is it then, you know, looking back on obviously the training that he does to get his fitness level where it is? Talk to us a little bit about that, because he's a fighter, one of your fighters that we see that he doesn't tire. He's not someone that gasses. He's
got a good engine, but he works hard to build that engine. You know, he's in the gym. You can't ask of any more of him. You know, he's very dedicated. He lives the right life. You know, in the boxing gym, he's always last one there. Same as it, like he goes strength and conditioning at Des Witters. He's always there. You know, he finishes everything he has to do. And even on his own, you can leave him to his own devices. He'll be running. He'll be at the track. He'll be doing everything he needs to do to make a success of himself. He's a model pro, Solomon Dakers is. And, you know, he's good to have in the gym. A lot of the kids can look at him and see the way he does it. And which, you know, really they're all dedicated, the kids that I train. And so, you know, you don't have to worry about that. But it's good to have him around, because, it shows them what's expected of you.
And your thoughts then, obviously you're recently out in corners, just as Paddy's kind of touched on there, when your fighter isn't up on the cards. That advice that you'd give, say to your fighter, say to Solomon, he comes back in the corner and maybe he didn't have his best round. Talk to us how you would talk to him.
If you don't tell them the truth, you're going to get them beat.
Okay.
Aren't you? You've got to tell them. You've got to tell them what's happening. In your opinion, what's happening in that fight. If he's behind, he needs to step it up. He needs, he needs to put his foot on the gas. You know, try and get this kid out of there. Because if you don't, you're giving him a false sense of security. And you know, it's dream world. If you're not, you've got to be honest with them. You know, be friends afterwards. If you've got to fall out with them and scream and shout at them, that's it. It's the way it's got to be.
We love that. Paddy?
Listen, the best thing you got in the boxing ring is your fitness, like I said before. If you're not fit enough, it doesn't matter. If you can't match your opponent's effort, it doesn't matter how much ability you've got. Your ability only works if you've got the fitness to go with it, because then you can impose your ability on them. If you're not fit enough, you can't go anywhere. You have to run, you have to train. There's no shortcut. You have to get in there and get stuck in and work hard. Solomon's a good fighter. You go a long way. But also with heavyweights, you have to wind them down a bit longer because it takes long for the strength to come back in their body, because they're bigger people.
When you mean wind down, what does that mean?
With a flyweight or a bantamweight, the making weight, they train right up to 3 or 4 days before the fight. With a heavyweight, you start letting them ease off a lot sooner, so the strength gets back in his body. Because they don't have to worry about weight, do they?
Fair
But
enough.
because they're big, it takes longer for the strength to get back in the body. Because when you're training really hard, you need to let the strength come back in your body. Like if you train really hard all week and you have the Sunday off, when you come back to the gym on the Monday, you could run through walls because your body's beginning to recover. So you let the body recover and let the strength come back in your body. It's very important that with heavyweights, so everybody's different. They're all different. Different weight people, different weight people's just different. Some people could fight with a kid. Costas Petru, you could fight 10 rounds every night of the week. If you eat for 10 rounds, you'd be out for 5 weeks resting. People are different. They recover differently.
And how can you tell then, as a trainer, and this is a question for both of you, how do you know how to judge your fighters' recovery periods? How would you know that?
Because when you're in the gym working with him on a regular basis, you get an idea what type of kid he is and what he's like. And that's why people who come up on the night and the seconds of fight are on the night, they don't actually spend any time in the gym with him. They don't really know anything about him. They're only there for one thing, to get dough. And they make themselves out to be some sort of genius. Well, they're not. And they get in there giving them too much information. That's the worst thing you can do in the corner to a fighter. Give him too much information. If he's behind, get him to relax, rehydrate him. If a fighter dehydrates by 2%, his performance drops by 20%. Oh, it's very important to keep his hydration levels right. Cool him down, ice pack on his back, get him right, give him water to drink. 10 seconds before he goes out, tell him what you want him to do. Up your game. You're not winning this fight. You're not throwing enough shots. You got to get up. You got to pick your game up. You can't go into specifics because he knows how to box already.
Information overload.
You don't need it, Abby. It's the worst thing. You're better off saying nothing than too much. The less said, the better. The more chance you have of getting at home. Just grab the important points you want to make, and that's all you want to give them. Not more than that.
When you look at it, and I'll pass this back to Max then, different fighters, they're like, one for a better word, they're like kids, aren't they? They're like your children. So different fighters, respond to different things in different ways. And that is about you knowing your fighter. Sometimes, I mean, what would you say? You're honest. You said, look, I'll tell him, look, you're down on the cards here. You need to step it up. When a fighter, and I'm not being specific and I'm not having a dig, when a fighter doesn't like to hear that, because how do you deal with that type of fighter? Because like you said, there's all sorts. And some people are not very good at taking criticism, or they need encouragement for them to up their game. And obviously, Paddy, you can jump in after. But Max, what are your thoughts on that? Do you get what I'm saying?
If they're clearly losing the fight, you've got to tell them the truth of you're behind here. You've got to step it up. Do you know what I mean? You have to be honest with them. You can't. It doesn't matter about their personality if they've got short fuse or whatever. It doesn't matter. You've got to be straight with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And encourage them that they can win this fight. Convince them that it's still there. You can still win this fight. It doesn't really matter what personality they've got. You've just got to be honest with them. And G them up, get them out there.
I like that. I get that as well, because you're sort of like saying, look, all right, you're behind the cards, but you can still do it. So there's like that sort of honesty, but then that push
you've got to give them some hope as well.
Okay.
You've got to believe in them.
Let me tell you something. There's a massive difference between criticism and advice.
Okay.
And if they can't understand that, then they shouldn't be doing the job. Because when you give somebody advice, you're not criticising them, you're giving them advice. You're giving them the benefit of your experience, what they're doing wrong, and how to put it right. And they should take that for what it is, good advice. You tell kids in the gym to do things. Some of them would say it's criticism. Like, if I was telling a kid to do something, I always tell him something he's doing good first. And then I tell him, but to get onto the next level, you need to do this right. So it's not just all the time pulling them up about doing this wrong or that one. And that way, you sort of create a good relationship with your fighter, He realises that you're not there to criticise him, you're there to advise him. So you've got to make your advice come across as advice and not criticism. And that's down to you as an individual when you're training to build that trust. So he knows what you're saying to him is exactly right because you said it to him in the gym. And it's like the instincts a fighter has. He knows instinctively that you're telling him the truth. And you've got to have that trust in each other. And he's got to have that faith in you. And you've got to know that when you say to him, he's going to get the right response from him. Like some kids, if you went and said that to him, the head would blow off, they go out like a lunatic. Another guy goes back into his shell. And you distinguish these guys from the experience you had walking with him in the gym. That's why it's very important that the guy's in the corner with you is the guy you have in the gym. Because he knows more about you, your personality, and what your emotions are like than anybody else. And that's really why Max is doing well at what he's doing, because he spends every day. The most important thing you can give anybody is your time, and he gives them loads of his time. And that's very commendable.
How would you, before you give the mic back to Max, how would you describe Max as a trainer? Because I can talk about him all day, because I've seen him in the corners live at fights, and I've seen him in the gym. But how would you explain him as a trainer?
He's good. He's, like you said before, he's honest, he's good. He spends all the time in the gym. He understands the fighters. He understands them. They trust him. He trusts them. That's a great relationship to have. You know, not everybody can get that relationship with fighters. Not everybody can do that. And that in itself is an art. To get along with people and coax them along, get them going in the right direction, and picking the right fights at the right time. And he's doing a fantastic job with fighters. And they all love Max, and they're all very happy with him. And you see loads of people leaving trains and going left, right, and centre. They've all stayed with Max.
And I'm going to come on to that, because Max, your stable is growing. I've had the pleasure of speaking to 2 more of your fighters today. Corey Gibbs, that's recently joined your gym, and Connor as well. Connor's been there in the background, but we're going to touch on Corey. Talk to me about him. I know he's sort of like in his trial period, but let us know a little bit about him.
He's been up a couple of weeks now, Corey, and he seems to be settling in good. He's a talented kid. You know, there's things to work on, but you know, he's a quick learner. To get there, I think he's fighting the end of October on the Sky Show. It'll be his first title. So yeah, it's good. Corey's a nice lad. I know his dad, Paul. I know his uncle Floyd as well. Paddy used to train his uncle Floyd.
Wow.
So you know, we know each other.
Show you how old I am.
But yeah, he's a talented kid. But there's still a lot more to come from him.
And when you say that, because we've had conversations about fighters before, it's not anybody off the street that can walk into your gym and you'll train them. There's certain attributes that you look for in a fighter. What is it that makes a fight? What is it that makes you think, you know what, I'll train him or her?
Yeah, I mean they've got to be ambitious and want to win. They've got to want to be world champions, and you know they've got to be ambitious and live the right life. And you know, you've just got to click with them as well. You can't just it'll take a while. But Corey's a real nice lad. I know his family and that, so you know we seem to be gelling well with each other. But you know, you've just got to have good work ethics in that. It's pointless bringing someone in and he's lagging and the other kids are looking at him. You just can't have that. You got kids that are, you know, dedicated and got a lot of drive in them.
I spoke to Raza, and Raza seems to be really happy that Corey's in the gym, because he's saying that Corey's bringing him on. You know, they're already starting to learn from each other. So it's like your stable's growing and it's starting to benefit all of the fighters.
Yeah, I mean, they've got different styles as well. Raz's like, you know, gets behind his jab a lot and all this tall thing, whereas Corey can switch, you know, he can change angles. And so it's good sparring for Raza, you know, for both of them. Yeah.
It's great when you've got a variety of sparring partners in your own gym. You don't have to travel all over the country to spar. It's brilliant. And they definitely do. When I got 30, 40 fighters in my gym, so we spoiled for sparring, and we had all the amateurs there. When Robert was an amateur, he used to spar with all the top pros. And it's great when you got that atmosphere in the gym. But some of the sparring in it was unbelievable, wasn't it, Max? Yeah. It was just, you wouldn't even see fights as good as them, you know. They're just fantastic. But it creates this harmony. And although it's an individual sport, you can develop the lads in the gym into a team where they all care and work for each other. They'll even when they're not shouldn't be training, they come and spar because they want to help the club, the gym mate out, you know. And once you create this like family atmosphere in the gym, that everybody's happy, it's a great environment, and they all love it, and that's what you want. And that breeds success. That does. It breeds success. All comes from that. Everybody gets on. Everybody's working with each other. Although it's an individual sport, you still need a team around you, and not just your trainers. You need your sparring partners, your mates in the gym. It's nice to see all the lads getting on well together. It's great. It's a fantastic atmosphere when the gym's flying, and that's where Max is heading.
And I'm definitely going to say that, because it is like you're starting to build a nice, comfortable stable of fighters here. You've also got Connor, and Connor isn't a local lad. Connor is someone that travels down to be tutored by you all the way from Northampton. And you might think, all right, yeah, it's an hour on a train, but it's rigorous training that he's doing. It's not easy to just travel out to do boxing to go back again.
Yeah, no, he showed commitment. Like, he travels up here. At the moment, he's got a bad hand. He's just had an injury, operation on his hand, but he still comes up a couple of times a week. But I've known Connor for a long time. He used to come to Paddy's gym in in Garrett's Green. And he come up when he was 17. I think he was about 17 when he had.
Yeah, about 7 years.
And he used to spar the Yaffais, Khalid Yaffai and Gamal. I mean, they were heavy-handed kids, and they couldn't budge him, really. He's a rugged, tough kid. But there's like the same, you know, there's still a lot to work on with Connor. He's got a lot of developing to do and that, you know. But the same with him, he'll be in good sparring company. You know, you got like Corey, Razza, so that'll bring him on and develop him as well. But he's a good kid. He's 4-0, and he just needs to get going now. You know, get healed up and get moving. Yeah.
And the benefit as well, because you're not just a coach, you're somebody that's experienced in boxing, and you also manage fighters. You know, Connor's quite happily said that you will be his manager alongside his being his trainer as well. I like it because it's in-house, and it's sort of like you will know everything that's going on rather than having to, I don't know, speak to a second person, a third person or whatever.
Yeah.
But how do you find it? Because I think, do you do the same for Razza as well?
Yeah, I manage Razza as well. I mean, it's difficult at times. You know, you got to organise fights for them and all that, and get them with the right promoters and all that. But with Connor, I think he's got a big following. You know, so he's got a bit to offer. He's got, you know, I think he does a lot of tickets. So, it all helps when you're speaking to these promoters.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a big help. He's a popular kid. You know, he's well liked. I see some of his fights, and you can see the crowd are up. They're excited. So yeah, I think he's got a good future. I mean, Paddy does bits with him as well. So he's got a good future. He's just like I say, just once he's healed up properly and gets going, we'll see the best of him.
He's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of potential. He wants to learn, and he's prepared to learn. He's prepared to listen. You know, he takes it the right way. He wants to learn. You see, again, when you're teaching somebody something, they take it as advice and not as a criticism. You know, that's what I said at Jim. Was forced to start speaking to him. I said, "Well, if I tell you something, I'm not being critical. I'm giving you advice, and I always take what I'm saying to you as advice. But I always give it to him with a spoonful of sugar and tell him he's doing something else right, because nobody looks to keep on getting told doing things wrong, you know. So you got to
it's that balance,
massage
isn't
their
it?
ego a bit, if you like, you know. But it's right, you know. Keep me feeling good about myself, but also get the advice in from him at the same time, and make sure it's taken as advice and not as criticism.
I like that. It is advice and not criticism. But we're going to move on to this gym, Acocks Green Gym. What a absolutely amazing building this is.
Yeah,
Max, the journey.
It's only been open a couple of months. You know, it's not finished. The gym's sort of still.
Still a bargain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a couple of things in the gym, but I think it's one of the best facilities in the country. You've got everything you need in there. There's a strength and conditioning section. There's 3 rings.
Oh, you've got an S&C section as well?
Yeah, it's all on the right as you're looking. It's all the machines and that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So everything's in-house. It's like, you know, everything you need. But, I mean, Craig Storer's done a lot of work, him and his dad and that here. And they've built, you know, they're like master builders. They've really brought it on in a short space of time. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, it's a great facility for fighters to train in.
So if, all right then, say for example, there's fighters out there that are listening to this. There's fighters that maybe are thinking about turning pro. Are the doors of Acocks Green Gym open for you to have a look at them fighters? Are people welcome to come here and speak with you, get advice, or I don't know, maybe hit the bags and you can have a look at them?
Yeah, I mean, they're always welcome if they've got the right attitude and the right personality. Do you know what I mean? And they've got to be realistic with themselves. You know, they've got to be ambitious and want to win titles and that. You know, you can't have a gym full of people that are in and out and the half-hearted. They've got to be like, you know, professionals and act professional when they're in here and around it, you know. But, yeah, you know, I think it's one of the best gyms in the country. I mean, you've seen it yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's enormous. It's got everything you need in here. So, yeah, but the fighters are lucky, really, that, you know, they've got these sort of places to train in.
In the heart of Birmingham.
Yeah.
For yourself then, if a fighter's to come through the doors and to say to Max, you know, I'd love to be trained by you, what attributes do you look for in a fighter? You've done it already. You've seen them all.
They've got to be prepared to work hard. They've got to. You can have the ability, but you have to live the right lifestyle as well. It's quite a monastic lifestyle. You've got to eat right, sleep right, everything. You can't just do one part of it. You've got to do it all. And some kids are prepared to do it another time. I've had kids go out of the gym on a Friday night, 2 pounds overweight, come back on Monday and they're 10 pounds overweight.
Dear God.
Oh, I didn't even drink. It's heavy air I've been breathing. You know, they're just wasting their time and my time. And my time is precious to me. If they don't want to put the same commitment in, good boy. You know, when you get into a boxing ring, remember, you're the one getting hit. I always call the boxing ring the lie detector. They can tell me all the lies they want. After 2 rounds, I know everything. They're just done. You know, just come in there. Go on. You're not lying to me. You're lying to yourself. You know, it's when you get in there, you shouldn't be thinking, I wish that I'd run more. I wish that you should get in there knowing you've done everything you possibly could to win. And that's the route to the top. There's no shortcuts. Hard work, and fitness, and get yourself there. But you won't do it with cheating. When you don't get out of bed and go run in the morning, you ain't cheating Max. He's cheating himself. That's all. And once they understand that, or when they get in the ring, your 2 things to protect you most in the boxing ring is your gum shield and your fitness. And if you haven't got the fitness, the gum shield don't count for much. It's the most important thing for you is being fit, getting into a boxing ring. Because you can move better, you can get out of the way of shots, you can ride shots, you can slip, you can roll them, whatever. If you're flat-footed and you've got nothing left, you're going to take the full impact of everything. You've got a very short career. So it's very important, fitness. And you can't emphasise it enough to kids that they've got to eat right, they've got to sleep right. You shouldn't be training for weight. You should be training for fitness. So they should be managing the weight. It's no good ballooning up in between fights and coming back in the gym and then having to lose loads of weight. It takes you 8 weeks to get the weight off. And in that period, you should be fit to fight, not just lost a bit of weight. It's a totally different thing. Some kids come in the gym and they're fat. They couldn't even be fit enough to train as hard as they need to fight. And them type of people just waste your time. They waste their time, they waste your time. So you've got to out them because they create a bad thing in the gym. Oh, well, why is he not doing it? So you've got to be very strict about who you have in your gym and that everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet. We're all going in the same direction and we're all helping and encouraging each other to do the job right. It's the only way to do it.
We like it. And final, I want that poem. Can you recite that poem that you said about greed to me earlier before this cuts
meanness,
off?
really.
Meanness.
We spend your leisure, bereft of pleasure, amassing treasure. We scrimp and save. We look so canny at every penny. You can't take money into the grave. Landlords and gentry, for all their plenty, must still go empty where'er they're bound. So tune my thinking, we best be drinking and glasses clinking for another round.
And on that note, October Red Boxing with Max McCracken and Paddy Lynch. Any final words from yourself, Max?
No, just thanks for coming today, Abby. And it's good to see you doing so well.
The band's off.
Keep building, keep building. But yeah,
good luck, Abby. Thank you very much.
Good luck, October Red. I'll put you back onto Paddy.
Yeah. Thanks, Abby. It's nice to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
Great, lovely.
Speak to you soon. Thank you.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.